Today already every person generates this digital shadow of data. Every second that you live and breathe, you generate data. And this will only exponentially continue to grow. So that means that when we have more data and when we can start combining different sources of data about the same person, we can create really interesting services for that same person. So I really don't like that much all these services that are around advertising and things like that. It has to be really about things that are useful for the user themselves, by combining all these different sources of data. What is important is that we really are focusing on the real user need, the real need of real people, and see how we can solve those needs. The problem with big data, analytics, or really any other technology is that many people are starting from the technology and saying, how can we apply this? And then engineers, they say to each other, I would love to use this. Let's make this into a company. The problem is most of that kind of companies, that kind of services are not going anywhere because the normal people, other people than engineers, I'm an engineer myself, so I can say that, the normal people don't think and have the same needs like engineers do. So what the engineer believes is great for themselves doesn't necessarily mean that it's great for society. It's really important to really follow a human-centered design approach, understanding people's needs, and then creating solutions on top based on those needs. And then when we ideate those solutions, see what technologies do we need to enable these ideas. So it's people needs first, then ideas, then technology, instead of the other way around, which unfortunately happens very often, which is why many of those startups are not going anywhere. I think that we need to shift, for example, the conversation in personal data. I think we need to shift it from talking about privacy to talking about trust, transparency, and control. I think that's really important because in the end, people are actually not wanting to hide their data away. They're happily giving it, handing it over if they have the feeling that there's a real benefit and there's trust, transparency and control. So it's really not a privacy issue, it's much more about these other things. So that's very important.